So here is the Choose Your Own Adventure game, and when I run it, it automatically prints everything out. Like here's the title, and then it prints out the story, and it prints out the choices all at once, right? So it's like instantaneous. But what I want to add is a way for the print to print out slowly, as if it's typing, right? As if the person is typing to you. So how can we do that? Well, we're currently using the print function to print out the text, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own function that's going to print out the text. So if I go to the top of my program, I could say def, maybe I can call it typing. It's going to take in an argument, let's call it text. And what we want to do here is we want to print out each letter of the text one at a time, and wait for a random amount of seconds. Okay, so the way that you can access each letter of the text is you can do a for loop. So you could say for C in text, and we would want to print C. Okay. So how is this going to work? Well, instead of calling print, we're going to call typing, and we're going to give it the string that we want to print out. Right? So let me see if I could do it down here in my first print right here. Right, for this is going to print out the title. So if I put typing and I'm giving it one argument, I'm giving it the string that I want to print out. That means on line 41, it's going to look for the function definition for typing. It's going to find it here. Text is going to be equal to the string that I gave as an argument, right? Space Invaders from Mars, the title. And it's going to enter into this for loop. And what is this for loop going to do? Well, C is the iterating variable, and C is going to, on the first iteration of the for loop, C is going to be equal to the first letter in the text. And then it's going to print out the first letter. Then it's going to come back up, and C is going to equal to the second letter in text, and it's going to print out the second letter. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do, but we also wanted to print out slowly, right? Like randomly, like tuck, 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 like as if he's typing. So how can we do that? Well, we know about random, but how do we make our program stop? Well, we could do a time.sleep is a command. Okay, and if I put time.sleep1, let me show you here. I need to import time. Okay, if I do time.sleep1, that means it's going to print out the first letter in text, and then it's going to sleep for stop for 1 second. Then it's going to come back up, and then C is going to be equal to the second letter in text. It's going to print out the second letter in text, and then it's going to stop for 1 second. So let's see if this actually works. So you see that? It's waiting 1 second, and it's printing out each letter one at a time in the title. Okay. Now, we don't want it to wait 1 second. Well, there's another problem here, right? We don't want it to print out like each letter on its own line either, right? But let's first handle the amount that it's sleeping. We don't want it to sleep 1 second. We want it to sleep, let's say, a random number of seconds from 0.2 to 0.7 seconds. Okay. So how can we do that? Well, we can use the random module, and right in here, well, we could do like random time is equal to random.random. I'm sorry, not rand range, and then I could put 0.2 comma 0.5, and so t is going to be equal to a random number from 0.2 to 0.5, and then instead of 1 here I could use t. Right, so for each iteration of the for loop, t is going to be equal to a random number from 0.2 to 0.5, and it's going to sleep a random number of seconds. So let's see if that actually works. Oh no, okay. So it wants an integer on rand range. Okay. So maybe we could do something else here. Maybe we could do random.random like that. Now what random.random does, if you remember, is it gives you a random number from 0 to 0.999. Okay. So this is kind of better, but what I want to do is I don't want a random number from 0 to 0.999. I want a random number from 0.2 to 0.5. So what can I do to this number up here, this random.random number, to get it so that it becomes this range here? Well, what I can do is I can first divide it by 3, right? And if I divide that by 3, then it's going to be a random range from 0 to 0.333. right? Because if the random.random gives us back 0, well, 0 divided by 3 is 0. And if the random.random gives us back 0.999, then 0.999 divided by 3 is 0.333. Right? So by dividing random.random by 3, we'll get a range from 0 to 0.333. All right, well, that's good, but not exactly what we want. Right? We want a random range from 0.2 to 0.5. So what we can do finally after we do that is we can add 0.2. Right? So what does that do? That means that our range is from 0.2 to 0.5333. Okay, because whatever random number this gives back, we're going to add 0.2 to it. So if it gives us back a random number 0, then our lower range is going to be 0.2 because we're adding 0.2 to it. And if it gives us back a random number at the maximum, which is 0.333, then we're adding 0.2 to that, which is 0.5333. Okay, so that's what we can do here. We could take random.random and we first divide it by 3. And then we take that and we can add 0.2 to it. Okay, and now we have a random number from 0.2 to 0.5. So let's see if this actually works. Yeah, it looks like it's working, right? And maybe I can, yeah, it looks a little fast, so maybe I can change this to 0.3. Okay, so now it looks like it's kind of typing out the story, right? At least the title. And so if you go ahead and change this number to a higher number, then the sleep is going to be slower, and it's going to type it out slower. And if you change this to a lower number, let's say 0.1, it's going to print it out faster. You see that, right? So yeah, actually I like that 0.1, so I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so now we want to solve the problem of it printing out each letter on its own line. And so how can we do that? Well, let's go to Google and let's type in Python print on same line. And if you do that, we can click on this first link here, print on the same line. And if we scroll down, there is a command here that we can use. Where is it? Yes, right here. So sys.stdout.write. Okay, so that makes it print each character on its without it being on its own line. So what I can do here is I can, instead of print, I could do sys.stdout.write. And in order to do that, I need to import sys. So I'm going to come up to the top and import sys. And I'm going to run it. And you can see, right, it prints out our title. Okay, so now that we're good with that, now that we have our printing out one letter at a time, what you can do is you can go back through your program, and instead of calling print to print things out, you can call this typing function that we just defined to print everything out. So let me go ahead and change it here, 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 and here, and you could see that it is now printing out to the screen, right? As if you're typing it to the screen, and it's a little bit easier to read as well because it's slower. Yeah, if you want it to be slower, you can also change this number to a smaller number and it'll go faster, right? If I change it to 0.2, you could see that it should go faster. Oh no, I'm sorry, if you make this a bigger number, it'll go faster. So if I do 0.7 instead, then it'll go faster. Oh, am I wrong? Okay. Yeah, 0.2. Maybe if we change this one to 0.05, make that one a smaller number, then it'll go faster. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you make this a bigger number, it'll go faster. If you make this a smaller number, it'll go slower. So if I make it a bigger number, it'll go faster. You see that? Right? And if I make it an even bigger number, let's say 15, then it'll go much faster. You see that? Okay. So you can adjust these numbers. This one, you want to make it smaller to go faster. This one, you want to make it bigger to go faster. But you can make it type as fast as you want by playing around with these two numbers.